You're welcome, Marie. I just saw your message. We're going to work on it a little bit more today, so I'm glad it's helpful for you. All right, guys. Good morning. So we've got Candace, Dave, and Val in the studio, and we've got everybody else at home. You'll see them afterwards, but I think we've got 9 or 10 virtual today. So. Good, so let's find a comfortable seat. And it may be that you're sitting with your legs out in front if that's more comfortable, but just notice how everything feels on your hips. So we want the front of the hips to feel very relaxed. And if they don't, you can prop yourself up on a block or a blanket or bolster, whatever you're using, either in the studio or at home. Beginning to find and feel your breath, watching your breath as it comes into and out of your body, not trying to change or shape the breath, just let it come and go. Each exhalation is an invitation to soften your shoulders away from your neck, and your neck away from your head, part your teeth. Relax your tongue, let it rest in the bottom of your mouth. And we're coming into our final week of Bird Month. We've had a lot of fun with pigeon and crane and eagle and heron. And so today we're going to wrap things up with working on side crow, Parsva-Bekasana. But don't panic, you've got lots of options. We're going to practice it seated. I'm going to show you a laying down variation, and then we'll work on the full variation towards the end of our practice once our bodies are nice and open. Very different than than straight crow. You're still doing an arm balance, but you're twisting big time. So our practice this morning is going to have a lot of twisting with a lot of options to modify based on your body and how comfortable you are in some of these postures. Let's just take another breath or two here. Coming into your practice. And then on your next exhalation, just let your chin release towards your heart. Gently blink your eyes open, lift your heads. Good morning. And we'll straighten our legs out in front, bringing your hands to the top of your right leg, and just get your right leg moving back and forth. So I'm really keeping my leg relaxed and trying to get the whole leg rotating in the hip socket. So don't be afraid to get the leg moving. This brings synovial fluid into the joint. Starts to release the sleeve of connective tissue surrounding the leg. And I open the windows a little bit. If you guys get chilly, let me know. I'll close them up. Good. Bring your hands to the other leg and we'll do the same thing. Getting the left leg now moving back and forth. It's kind of giving your quad a nice massage here too as you rotate. Good, and then we'll come back to your right side, cross your right leg over your left, and then bring your left hand to the bottom of your right foot. And we're just starting to open the feet now. So I'm interlacing fingers and toes. You don't have to get everything in there. Starting to make some circles and open up the foot. Good. You can stay at the ball of the foot or circle at the ankle or even just stay still and squeeze the toes if that feels better. So finding again what works best for your body. A couple more here. And then we'll separate the fingers nice and wide, giving the toes a little bit more stretch. Remove your fingers, draw your foot towards you, opening up the top of the foot. Press your foot away. And then holding your foot, giving your toes just a little twist and turn in both directions in a gentle pull, opening up the joints of your toes. Once you finish working your toes, you can start to massage your foot out. Spend some time on the ball of your foot. Working your way all around the foot. So anywhere your foot needs some attention, it's always my whole foot. Eventually making your way back up to the big toe side and little toe side of your foot. Hold your foot and give your foot a good shake out. So holding the big toe side with both hands and trying to get this back and forth motion. Good, and then rub your foot out and give your foot. Change sides, just check out the color of your feet, especially when it's cold out, the difference. So we've brought a lot of fresh blood and oxygen into the foot. And then interlacing again, fingers and toes here. Don't jam your fingers in. If you can only get 2 fingers in, that counts. So being gentle always with our joints. And as you're sitting, notice what's happening in your straight leg. So the toes should be pointing up towards the ceiling. So rotate your foot up. That's it, Val. So now you get a nice inner rotation of the leg just by pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. Good. Separate your fingers nice and wide. Move your fingers, draw your foot towards you. Press away. And then we'll hold the foot. Did you hear the crack?
That's good.
Yeah. I got creaky ankles. All those years of explosive sports. Good, and then massaging your foot out after you work the toes. Spending some time on the ball of your foot. Super important for the ball of the foot to be really flexible. So just notice if it feels really stiff. Maybe work on it a little bit more during the week. Or let somebody else work on it for you. Even better. And then we'll work our way back up to the big toe side and little toe side of your foot. Hold onto your foot and shake your foot out. Yeah, that's it. Good. Again, we're trying to get this back and forth motion in the ball of the foot. And rub your foot out and go down. Good. We'll take our tennis ball and roll out our feet. Again, always working the feet at the beginning of our practice. So good for your yoga and also just for everyday life, walking around. Good, switch sides. And then we'll stay with our tennis ball. If you're up on a blanket, you can come off your blanket. Straightening your legs out in front. And then leading to your left, find your right sitting bone. It's this big bone right at the bottom of your tush. Your legs are straight out in front. You're going to sit right on top of the tennis ball with this bone. So it's going to feel lopsided. Straighten your legs out in front, Val. Yep, that's it. Then press into your hands and shift your hips up and over the tennis ball. You're just coming to the left and then to the right. You're staying on the tennis ball and just like a car going over a speed bump. Yes. And if this is uncomfortable for your wrists, you can take a couple blocks and put them underneath your hands and then make your arms a little bit longer. And this might feel a little unusual, but trust me. Good. And then staying on your right side, bend your knees a little bit, scoot your butt towards the front of your mat. Now the tennis ball's coming into the meat of your tush. Start to straighten your legs, come right back over that big bone, the sitting bone, into the hamstrings, and then back and forth here. And so what we're doing is making a plus sign, in effect, on this bone, side to side, and then front to back. My teacher Jenny used to say it's hot cross buns. Good, shift back just enough so that your tennis ball is in front of your sitting bone. Now you're not sitting on it, it's just kind of wedged up against the bone here. Straighten your right leg. Bring your hand to the top of your right leg, and we'll come back to that rotation we did at the beginning of class. Releasing all this hamstring attachments here, so good for your hamstrings. Good, and then take your tennis ball out and sit and close your eyes and just take a little scan. Your right leg might feel flatter. Your right shoulder might feel like it has dropped a little bit, might have come all the way up into your neck. So this is another release of connective tissue in the body. So we'll do the other side. And if you didn't feel anything, that's okay too. Good, so sitting right on top of the tennis ball, press into your hands, shift your hips up and over the tennis ball. So you're basically letting the tennis ball come to the inside and the outside of this bone, starting to soften and release all the attachments coming in to the sitting bone from the legs, from the hamstrings, and also from your pelvic floor. Keep your face relaxed, bend your knees, and now we scooch front to back. Here comes the other part. So letting the tennis ball come into the meat of your glute, of your tush, right over the sitting bone into the back of the leg where the hamstring attachments reside. Couple more here. Good, and then we'll shift back just enough so the tennis ball is in front of your left sitting bone. Straighten your left leg. Hand comes to the top of the left leg, and get the left leg moving back and forth. Good, and then release, taking your tennis ball out. And then once again, sitting for a moment. Notice if it's a little bit easier to sit in your staff pose. And if you were using a blanket, you can come back up onto your blanket if that's more comfortable. I always like to prop myself up a little bit. And we'll start to move now. So sitting in Sucasana, cross-legged pose, sweeping arms up, inhale, exhale, and lower. And just moving with your own breath, take a few more. The next time you come into your inhale, let the left arm come up, take it over to the right. Let's move dynamically this morning. Yogis, inhale both arms back up to center, and we'll take it over to the left and just keep going, finding your movement, coordinating with your breath. When you feel ready to pause into the stretch, we'll come up and over to the right and hold, coming into the stretch on your own time. Taking some nice deep breaths into the left side of your body. Good, let's sweep up, inhale, and take it over to the other side and hold, opening up the right side of the body here. Good, let's take it back up and hold, reaching up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers, reach your palms up. If this is too much on your shoulders, you can just reach up, maybe look up if it's okay for your neck. And then we'll release, hands come behind the back or just to the floor behind you. Again, find what's comfortable. Reaching the knuckles straight back, drawing your shoulder blades together, chin is level. Big breath into your heart center. Good, and then we'll release, roll the shoulders out. We're going to come into a little twisting, change the cross of your legs. Sweeping up, nice big breath. And as you exhale, turn to the right. Again, we'll move dynamically to start. Sweeping up, inhale back to center. And then take it to the left. And just moving through a few more. Make sure as you twist that you're twisting from the belly. Think about the belly button twisting first, and then everything else spiraling up the spine. So your whole body is participating in the twist. When you're ready to pause, we'll meet in our twist to the right and hold. And so one hand can come to the floor in front, one hand can come behind you, really using that support behind you to keep your spine nice and tall. If you're ready to take this a little deeper on an exhale, turning a left rib cage to the right and maybe bringing the back of the left hand to the outside of your right knee. Still sitting nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Giving your body time to come into the twist. Good, and then we'll release and come into the other side, sweeping up. Let's come over to the left here. Same thing, take your time. Might be just nice to rest in a little bit gentler twist. Otherwise, on an exhale, right rib cage turns to the left. Just allowing the body to come into the twist, sitting nice and tall. Good, and then we'll release back up, sweep arms up, interlace. One more full body stretch here. And then hands will come behind your back, interlace. Reach your knuckles straight back, or just again, fingertips to the floor. Open up the front of your chest. Really think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Good, and then release, roll your shoulders out. Straighten your legs out, give yourself a little pound out. Good, so we're gonna do side crow, Gomokasana, seated. And we'll have a couple different options to do side crow today, seated, reclined, or the full pose. And so I'll have you guys do this with me. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. You wanna be up on a blanket. So give yourself a little perch. And you can sit up on a bolster too, which is just completely fine. And I'm turning to the side, but you guys can stay straight if you want, however you want to do. I'm just turning to the side for the guys at home. And so I'm up on a blanket. My feet are on the floor, knees bent, feet on the floor. Good, and then we're going to sweep the arms up and start to twist to the left and bring your right arm to the outside of your left leg. So your right arm comes to the outside of your left leg. So I'm in a pretty big twist. We haven't twisted too much this morning, so just be gentle here. So you might just stay here. If the right arm doesn't quite come to the outside of the leg, you can be here. But have your feet and your knees together. So draw the feet and the knees together. Yep, that's it, guys. And then from here, I'm just gonna bring my left hand up. And I'm drawing my left elbow into my left rib cage. Good, so now I've got what we would say chaturanga arms, right? The wrists are flexed. Pretend you're on the floor here with your hands. And you might just stay here and experience the twist. This is a side crow variation. If you feel like you want to bring your core into this, start to lean away from your hands. So you're lifting up a little bit onto off of the left sitting bone and lean back and float your feet up, point your toes. So now we're using our core. You feel that in your core, Candace? Yeah, so this is still pretty intense, right? Just like when we did crow on our backs. Otherwise, you can just keep the feet on the floor and experience the twist. Good, release, shake your legs out. And then we'll do the other side. I'm gonna just switch so I'm on the right view here for you guys at home. So we wanna do the other side, knees bent, feet on the floor. Sweep your arms up. This time you're gonna twist, and you can keep your right hand on the floor behind you if you want, so that you can just get the twist here with the left elbow into the right leg now. And this might even be enough. This is pretty intense. This is a big twist. So you're noticing in your side crow, there's a lot of twisting going on, and we're gonna twist a lot this morning to prepare for that. So from here, you just float the right arm up and draw it into the ribs. And so you're twisting big here. This might be enough, or you start to lean away and float up. Breathe, don't hold your breath. Keep squeezing the left elbow into the right knee. Create that resistance. Breathing, breathing, and then come down and release. Shake your legs out. Good, let's come onto our backs. Just let your body rest on the floor here. And maybe draw the knees into the heart, hug your knees into your heart after that big twist. Maybe row your boat a little bit. And breathe. We're going to come into a recline twist. Drawing your knees into your heart, hug your knees into your heart, bring your arms out into a T, and let your legs drop over to the right. So coming into just a nice easy twist here. Again, you're noticing that this is the shape that we just did with our legs. We're in a twist, but we're just doing it reclined. And this is our prep pose for reclined Gomokasana, reclined side crow. Good, drawing the knees back up to center, give yourself a little hug. And then we'll take the legs over to the left, dropping them up and over. Taking some breaths into the right side of your body here. Again, noticing the shape of the legs. Good, coming back up to center, draw your knees into your heart, hug your knees into your heart, and release the feet down to the floor for a second. Separate your knees wide and just give your feet a little windshield wiper, your knees a little windshield wiper, let them drop back and forth. We're going to come into side crow, reclined side crow here. Good, drawing the feet back together. The knees back together. Draw your knees into your heart. Hug your knees into your hearts. You just did this. Float your arms up towards the ceiling. Chaturanga arms again, so like the hands are pressing up towards the ceiling, and then take a little twist with the arms to the right. And think about drawing your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. You might want to lift up your head for this. Point your toes and squeeze here. So this is your reclined side crow, reclined Gomukasana. So you're feeling a big stretch into the left side of the body, your obliques. Again, a lot of core work when you're doing these recline. Good, and then release, come all the way back down. Bring your feet down, separate your feet, windshield wiper your knees. You guys feeling that here in the studio? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a lot of work for your obliques, your side abdominals. Okay, let's do the left side. Draw the knees back into the heart. Reach the arms up and then over to the left. Start to lift the head up, start to draw the knees in, point your toes, You can bend the elbows if you want and really squeeze in left arm, right arm. Squeeze, 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 and release, and let it go. Separate the feet, windshield wiper the knees. We're going to open up the front of the body here with some dynamic bridge poses. Keeping your knees bent, feet on the floor, drawing them close to your sitting bones, hip width distance apart. Arms are by your sides. Press down into your feet, lift your hips, sweep your arms up overhead, resting on the floor behind you. Exhale and lower down, and just move through 4 or 5 more of these. Dynamically moving with the arms. So as you press into the feet and lift, the arms come up overhead. As you lower the hips, the arms come down by your sides. Good. When you feel complete in your bridge pose, pausing on your backs, letting your spine settle. And then we'll draw the knees into the heart, hugging your knees into your heart. Then we'll start to rock back and forth if that's comfortable for your neck. We're going to end up onto hands and knees. So just take your time getting there. Or just come over onto your side and find your tabletop. As always, if you'd like to have a little bit of support, you can place some support underneath your knees. Finding your tabletop pose, and we'll start to move here a little bit, guys. So whatever feels good here. Maybe it's a cat-cow, maybe it's moving in and out of child's pose. Just start to bring some movement into your spine. Take your time. You may already feel that the heat's kind of coming up into the body a little bit from that core work, both in our seated side crow and reclined side crow, remembering that you can use either one of those when we come into the full pose later on in our practice this morning. Good, and then when you feel like you've moved enough in the spine, you'll turn toes under and come into downward facing dog. Finding your dog pose here, walking it out a little bit. However dog feels like it wants to move this morning, maybe it's quiet, maybe you're very dynamic in your dog pose. Take your time. And then we'll start to move in and out of dog to child's pose in our dynamic flow. Taking a breath here in dog pose, come on down. Inhale to your tabletop, exhale, child's pose. Inhale to fours, exhale, downward facing dog. Just keep going, moving with your breath in and out, alternating between dog and child's pose, knowing you can skip dog pose altogether and just come in and out of child's pose for a gentler practice. Let's do a few more. The next time you're in dog pose, we'll hold the pose. On your inhale, coming forward to high plank, shoulders are over your wrists. Remember, in your high plank, your knees can be up or down here. On your exhale, take it back, downward facing dog, and pulsing here, moving in and out of your plank. Again, knees can be up or down to downward facing dog, really focusing on your core. As you go into plank, you're breathing. Exhale, navel to spine into your dog pose. Next time you come to plank, we're going to hold it. Again, knees can be up or down here. Think about isometrically dragging the heels of your hands towards your feet. This is going to open up the front of the body and fire up your core even more. A few more breaths. Good. Knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Elbows tight into the body, guys. Inhale to baby cobra or upward facing dog. On your exhale, take it back. Downward facing dog. And if the flow felt good, you can come through a couple more rounds. We'll meet in child's pose. So when you feel complete in your flow, find child's pose and rest. Good, guys, from child's pose, we're going to come into one more core work. This is going to be our forearm plank. So from your child's pose, walk yourself forward and bring your elbows just underneath your shoulders. When I do forearm plank, I like to interlace my hands, but you can have the hands flat on the floor if you like. Just make sure your elbows are under your shoulders and walk your feet back. Forearm plank. Get that butt down, Dave. Good. Remember, knees can be up or down here. You can do forearm plank with the knees down and still work your core. Let's take 5 big breaths here. Navel to spine on exhale. Reach through your heels. Good. After your 5th breath, we're going to lower into Sphinx. So just lower the pelvis down. If your hands are interlaced, separate your hands. Elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Draw your elbows back towards your ribs. Lift your heart. Nice big opening into the front of the chest. Taking some breaths here. The more you drag the elbows back, the deeper the back bend becomes. And you're controlling. A couple more breaths here, just getting a nice opening. We're doing a lot of core work. We want to give time for the front of the body to open. Good, and then lower down. Find your downward facing dog. Walk it out here. Optional to come through your vinyasa. We'll meet once again in child's pose and take a little break. Make sure your wrists are feeling okay. Good. We're going to transition to the top of our mats. So from child's pose, let's come into downward facing dog. Taking a breath or two in down dog before walking your feet up to your hands into your forward fold. Soft knees as you come into Uttanasana. So just letting the head hang. Make sure your arms or your hands are touching something. It might not be the floor, it might be your shins. And we'll move in and out of our half forward fold here a few times on the inhale. Hands slide up the front of the legs, lift the heart. Your chest is parallel to the floor. Exhale and fold. Moving again with your breath, just a few more. Really taking advantage of the weight of the shoulder girdle to bring you deeper into the stretch. But really letting that shoulder girdle go. The next time you find your forward fold, we'll hold the forward fold, letting the head go, letting the arms go. Again, a little gentle bend in the knees. And maybe bringing a shoulder stretch into this, hands interlaced behind the back. Moving the knuckles up towards the ceiling. I'm bending my knees a lot here. Eventually releasing the hands back down, and we'll slowly walk up the legs, nice and easy. Let your blood pressure adjust as you come up to standing. Let's separate our feet and swing it out. How you guys doing? Good? Okay. Everybody's with me at home? Good. So we're going to come into a couple flows, guys. And you can bring your blocks up to the front of your mat. Good, so let's come up to mountain pose at the top of your mat and just sweep the arms up. Just getting the arms moving here. Inhale, exhale, and lower your arms. Good, a couple more. Nice big breaths. Check your feet, make sure they're hip width distance apart and parallel. Good, next time the arms are up overhead, we'll hold on to the left wrist. As you inhale, reach up, take it over to the right and hold. Another side body stretch here. Good, pressing down into your left foot. Come on back up to center, we'll switch. Inhale, lift up, and then take it over to the left. Pressing now more fully into the right foot. Let's come up to center, and let's swan dive, fold forward, soft knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Just our half sun salutation. Let's sweep all the way back up. And release, fold it forward. Halfway lift. And release. Arms out to the sides, all the way up. Let's do one more. We'll meet palms together over heart center and just pause here for a moment before we move into our flow. Shoulders relaxed. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift, and then you'll step your right leg straight back. Bring your right knee to the floor. Coming into our low lunge, your arms will sweep up. Come into your low lunge. Back knees down. Exhale, fold forward. Step your back foot forward. You're in your forward fold once again at the top of your mat. Hands interlaced behind the back for an optional shoulder stretch. Releasing the hands back down, we'll sweep all the way up. And then fold forward. Coming into the left side, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot straight back, left knee drops to the floor. And sweep your arms up, inhale. Exhale and fold. Step it forward. Hands interlace, shoulder stretch. And then release, come all the way up. We'll meet palms together over heart center. Pause here. Shoulders relax, find your breath. We're just going to do that flow one more time. Sweep up, inhale, and release. Halfway lift. Right foot steps back, right knee drops to the floor. And let's come all the way up. Fold forward. Back foot steps forward into your forward fold. Hands interlace. And then we come all the way up, yogis. Right into the left side. Fold forward. Nice big breaths here. Inhale, halfway lift. We're not taking it too fast today. Step it back. Left knee drops and sweep it up. Exhale, fold. Back foot steps forward. And then one more shoulder stretch here before coming all the way up. Palms together over heart center. Pause here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Downward facing dog. Walk it back to your dog pose. Optional to come through a round of your vinyasa. Or two, whatever feels good. Then we're going to meet in child's pose. Take your time. Good. Sliding your palms under your shoulders, press into your hands, sit yourself up. How's everybody doing? How you guys doing at home? Everybody good? Okay, awesome. So we're gonna do the hip flow, which is a great prep for, so move everything out of the way. So we're gonna do the hip flow this morning. One of the most, a very important part of being able to get into side crow is having the outside of the hip open, and the best way to do that is hip flow because it brings in pigeon, which opens up the side of the hip, and Gomukasana. So clear your stuff out of the way. Good, and let's come into tabletop pose. We're only going to do 2 rounds of hip flow. We're going to go nice and slow this morning because I want you guys to really feel the stretch. So from your tabletop pose, bring your right knee to your right thumb. Right knee comes to right thumb and reach your left toes straight back. Very gentle pigeon here. Okay, we're not coming too deep. Inhale, press into the fingertips and lift your heart. Little, again, front of the body stretch. Exhale, lower your right hip down to the floor. So come sit down and tuck your left foot behind you. So pull it straight back behind you, as close to your butt as you can. Yep. Bring your hands behind you and think about pressing down into the tops of your feet to lift your hips. So you guys in the studio towards the mirror. Exhale, lower your hips back down. Your back leg should be your left leg. Sweep it all the way around to the front of your mat and cross your left leg over your right and square your hips to the front of your mat. So Val, you can adjust so that you're facing straight ahead. Yep. Sometimes we have to move around a little bit. If you can't have the foot crossed, it can be here. It doesn't have to be across. Good. From here, inhale, exhale, twist to the left. We're coming into a big twist. Think about your side crow, how we did it seated. We're in that same position again for our side crow. Good, come back to center. You might stay here if the hips feel open. Maybe you stack the knees and come into a gentle Gomukasana. I've got my fingertips to the floor. I'm sitting up nice and tall. Again, feeling that big stretch into the side of the hip. Good, and from here, whether you've got the legs in the first position or you're in Gomukasana, you're going to find the top leg should be your left leg. Tuck it behind your right. Left foot is behind the right foot. Separate your knees wide apart. Bring your hands behind you. Again, think about pressing into the tops of the feet like you're on the swing, and swing the hips forward. Lift. Exhale, lower the hips. Extend your right leg out to the side and fold forward. It's like a little Janu Shirsasana variation. As you inhale, sit back up, sweep your right arm in front and come into gate. Really lifting up here, pressing into the top of your left foot to lift the hips. So here comes our big swing, guys. Inhale here as you exhale, sweep the right leg straight back. Bring your right hand to the floor. And now your left knee is at your left thumb and you're in pigeon on the other side. Good. Inhale, lift, fingertips. Exhale, now the left hip drops. I'm going to sweep my right leg straight back and draw as close to my butt as I can. Bring my hands to the floor, tops of the feet press and lift. Exhale, lower. Back leg, your right leg sweeps all the way around. Either crosses over the left or it just stays here. On an exhale, turn and twist to the right. Again, here's our side crow position. Big stretch into the outside of the right hip now. Coming back to center, staying here in this position or stacking the knees for Gomokasana. I love this flow. Good. Find your top leg, it's your right leg. Draw your right foot behind your left. Separate your knees wide apart. Bring your hands behind you. Here comes the swing. Press down and lift. Yes, exhale and lower. This time left leg stands out to the left. Puts the left leg straightens and fold forward. Sitting back up, here comes our gate. Sweep the left arm across, press down into your right arm and lift into your gate. Try to flex your left foot, toes on your left foot up towards the ceiling. Yes, that's it, Val, lovely. Inhale here, here comes the sweep, Val. Watch out for your props. Sweep straight back. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time. Sweep up, inhale. Exhale, lower the hip down. Tuck your left foot right behind you. Hands come behind you. Press down and lift. See if the hips opened up a little bit. Exhale and lower. Back leg sweeps all the way around to the front. Yes, square your hips to the front of your mat and twist to the left. Come back to center. Gomukasana, optional. If you're comfortable in Gomukasana and you want to fold forward, you can do the forward fold here. Pretty intense on the hips. If you're in the forward fold, sit yourself back up slowly. Draw the left foot behind the right. Separate your knees wide apart. Yep, that's it, Dave. Hands come behind you and lift. Swing it up. Notice if your swing got a little higher. And then release. Right leg extends out to the side. Fold forward. This might be deeper now too. Inhale, lift up. Find your gate. Really opening up through the whole right side of the body here. Okay, last big sweep here. Inhale, exhale, sweep the right leg back. Find your pigeon, your gentle pigeon on the left leg. Inhale, lift the heart. Good, everybody looks great at home. You guys got this. Exhale, lower down. Left hip lowers, tuck your right foot straight behind you all the way to your butt, as close as you can. Hands come behind, press down into your feet. Lift your hips. Exhale and lower. Back leg sweeps all the way around to the front. Square your hips and twist to the right. Notice the twist might be a little bit more open here. Notice both sitting bones might be on the floor where perhaps the first round they weren't. That's that side hip opening up and releasing. Good. Come back to center. Stack the knees, maybe for Gomukasana. Stay here or maybe fold forward if it's comfortable for your body. If you're deep in the forward fold, start to lift up. Good, drawing the top leg, your right foot behind your left, separating your knees wide apart. Hands come behind, press down, lift it up. Exhale and release. Extend your left leg out to the left, home stretch, yogis. Fold forward. Inhale, lift it up, and let's sweep that arm across. Find your last gate pose, flexing your left foot, toes up towards the ceiling. Inhale here, exhale, sweep it back. We're just in pigeon for a moment. Dave found one of his props. Downward facing dog. Here we go. Walk it out. Optional to come through your vinyasa. We'll meet in child's pose once again. Take a little breather. Notice how your hips feel in your child's pose. The hips might feel more open. You might be able to take the knees wider apart and be more comfortable in Balasana. Just noticing, always noticing your practice. Good, yogis, let's inhale to tabletop. We're just transitioning to mountain pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to your hands into your forward fold. Notice how the Uttanasana may be a little bit deeper, a little bit more easeful. Inhale, halfway lift. And release, fold forward. Let's come all the way up. Palms together over heart center, pausing here. Good, relax your arms, separate your feet wide apart, and we'll just swing it out. Good, so we're going to come into tree pose. Take a little breather from our hands, but still staying with this idea of balance. And since we're coming into tree and we haven't been solid on our feet here for a little bit, let's just take a tennis ball and roll out one foot. Candace, are you getting chilly? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm going to close one of the windows, guys. It's getting a little chilly. I was feeling it too. Yeah. Good sleeping weather. Yeah. Good. Switch over to the other foot. Good. And then you can move your tennis ball out of the way. Find mountain pose, Tadasana. And what I love about tree pose is it brings you into this very peaceful state. So as we come into tree pose, just notice that peaceful state that you're in, and we're going to try and carry that with us when we come into side crow. Yes. Not easy. Bring your awareness into your right foot, press down into your right foot, pick up your left foot, and you might just hover here and bring the toes to the floor or bring the bottom of the foot to the inside of the right leg, either above or below your knee, just not on your knee. And here is totally fine. So finding a way that you can come into tree pose that's peaceful and balanced. Maybe the hands stay at the heart center, maybe arms lift up overhead. I'm not going to move so I don't disturb you guys. It's also helpful to find a spot on the floor about 9 or 10 feet in front of you until you get the balance, and then you can start to lift your gaze. But always moving easily in tree pose. When you're ready to release out, on your own time, come out and we'll find mountain pose, no rush. And then eventually coming into the pose on the other side might be different on this side. You might need a wall on this side. So always honoring where you are in your practice. I have much less balance on this side because of the tear I have in my hip, so I have to be more mindful on this side. Again, the toes can be on the floor, hands can stay at heart center, and just paying attention and breathing, and the face is relaxed. Maybe the arms extend up, maybe the gaze lifts, eventually finding your tree. When you feel complete, don't rush it. Make your way out, finding mountain pose once again. Finding that state of calm, even though you're working on a balancing posture. Good, and then we'll relax the arms. We're going to come into another flow, one more flow before we start to make our way and play a little bit, flying into side crow. So you might want to pause here and just grab some blocks. Sweeping up, inhale. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift. Let's take it back, downward facing dog, walking it back to your dog pose. Do a little hip opener here, floating your right leg up, reach it straight back behind you. And then float the leg as high as you can, bend the knee and open up your hip. So nice big stretch here into the hip once again, front of the hip here. We'll keep the leg lifted, square your hips, and on an exhale, step your right foot forward, find your lunge. Thursday night class really loved this flow a lot, so I'm sure you guys are going to really love it too.
Snicker, snicker.
Good, so from your lunge, we're going to come up into crescent lunge. Make sure your feet are not like a balance beam, guys. You're going to tip over. So think train tracks and start to come up into your crescent lunge. Sweep your arms up. Good, from here, bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come into another twist. Extend the spine nice and long. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Bring your elbow to the outside of your right knee. I'm looking down at the floor for this series, so don't worry about the head following. Maybe just keep looking down so you find a spot that's steady. Bring your awareness into your back leg. So that's your left leg. And step your left foot forward. Find chair pose with a twist. If you fall out of it, that's okay. Find chair and twist. Inhale here, exhale, release, forward fold. Halfway lift and fold. Bend your knees, drop your hips, sweep your arms up, chair pose. Hands to heart center. Inhale to extend, exhale, twist to the left. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Good, you're still with me. Bring your awareness into your right leg and step your right leg straight back. Find crescent with a twist. Same thing, if you fall out, don't sweat it. Just find crescent pose and twist. Inhale here. We're stepping back forward, guys. Bring that back leg back in. Find your chair, twist. And then release, forward fold. Halfway lift and fold. Let's come all the way up. Palms together, over heart center. Wasn't that fun? We're just going to do it one more time. So you can see why it's important to not stack the feet, right? We want to keep that separation in the feet so that you can stay balanced. But if you fall out of it, just come back in. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Sweep up, inhale, exhale, and fold. Halfway lift. Let's take a downward facing dog, stretch it out. Going from being really compressed to opening everything up. Lift the left leg up. Bring it as high as you can. Bend the knee, open the hip. And then we'll square the hip and step the left foot forward, finding your lunge. Good, walking yourself up. Here comes our crescent. Your left knee is tracking over your left ankle. You're on the ball of your back foot. Here comes this series, one more round on this side. So hands come to heart center. As you inhale, lean forward a little bit, extend, exhale, and twist to the left. Inhale here. On your exhale, step the back leg in to the front. Meet the foot, and you're in your chair prayer twist. Inhale here. Exhale, fold. Let it go. Just one more side, guys. Home stretch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Let's find our chair pose. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, extend. On your exhale, twist to the right. Here comes the hard one. Bring your awareness into your left leg and step it straight back. You come out of it, just come back in. Yoga is about experience, trying something new, and still being gentle with your body. Good, inhale here, exhale, step it back in. Find your chair twist. Good, and then release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep all the way up. And release, fold forward. Halfway lift. Take it back, downward facing dog. Nice work, you guys. That's a hard one. Optional once again to come through your vinyasa. We'll meet in child's pose. After a few breaths in child's pose, I'm going to have you guys come onto your backs and just take a mini Shavasana for about a minute. I want you guys to just take a moment to let all that work kind of settle into your body before we start to transition and play with Gomukasana. So as you come onto your backs, you can always stay in child's pose. This is just about what your body needs for the next minute or so. Find your breath. And just settle. I'm not going to talk for about a minute. Question. Starting to draw your knees into your heart. If you're resting on your backs, hug your knees into your heart. Giving yourself a little squeeze. And then you'll slowly come up to seated. I change my view here so I can watch you guys. Good. So we're going to come into a couple variations of side crow. You have the option, if you prefer, if your wrists have had enough. We've done a lot of work on our wrists and our arms this morning. So if you've had enough and you want to do the recline variation on your back that we did at the beginning of class, you can do the recline variation. You can also do that seated variation where we sat on a blanket and just did this and then lifted the legs. So this is a lot of core work. So decide how you want to do it. If you want to try side crow, we're going to do first an easier version of side crow, and I'll show it to you guys first so that you know what we're doing. When you're coming into side crow, whether it's just watch, coming into this easier version, or the full version, you want to start with your feet close together and your knees close together. So I'm really squeezing my knees close together. And then I'm going to bring my hands to the outside of my left leg, and both of my arms and hands are on the floor, just like think about chaturanga that we've been doing during class. From here, I'm going to start bending my elbows and making sure that both elbows are coming in to the hip. So you can see my left elbow is pressing into my hip and my right elbow is to the top of my knee. And then this, from here, it's just physics. And this might be enough. You might just be here and come out and come in and come out. If you want to try to take flight, you start to bend the elbows and you just let kind of your weight shift, point the toes and lift, and then come out. So let's try it. So I'm going to just kind of watch everybody. So so however you want to be on your mats, let's go over to the right. Let's do the right side first. So find your perch. So you're coming up onto your feet. And again, this is only if you're doing the this easier version. Yeah. So Candace, you want to turn and face towards the windows. Yeah, or actually the other way, since we're going to the right, because you're going to bring your hands to the outside of your right leg. Like that? The other leg, yeah. Yeah, so we're on our perch. We're going to do the right leg. And then you're gonna bring your hands, yeah. So what I would do, Candace, is turn your body all the way towards the window and then bring your arms to the other side. Whichever way you guys want to twist. I'm sorry, I'm trying to mirror with at home in the mirror with you guys. So yeah. So you guys just yeah, just do like what I'm. You guys just do what I'm doing.
Follow me. That's good advice.
Yeah, and then if you don't want to do this one, Val, then you can. Yeah, so you can do it on your back.
I may do that too, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. So okay, so wherever you are, just find a twist. So I'm twisting and bringing my hands to the floor. And sorry about that, guys. It's just hard talking it through and mirroring and switching zones here. So both hands are in the floor. Whichever side you're twisted, you just want to have both hands onto the floor. And you're starting to bend your elbows. And you're bending your elbows enough so that you can feel the elbows coming into both the outside of the hip and right below the knee. So you're creating this little shelf. So Dave, your hand should be pointing straight ahead.
Sure.
Chaturanga arms, bring your hands a little bit wider apart.
I'm trying.
So bring your left arm, your left hand over to the left a little bit. Yes. Now start to bend your elbows. So as you bend your elbows, that's when the hip comes into the elbow. And then you just, not just, but you start to lean forward and maybe lift up. That's it, Candace. Yes, yes. And maybe just one leg comes up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can just do one foot and see how that feels and then come back down. All right, I'm gonna watch you guys. Are you guys trying it? Good, nice variation, Terry, I love it. Nice modification. Good. Yep, that's it. I see you, Molly. Good. Alicia's doing the variation on her back as well. How's it going, Amy? Okay, good, guys. Take a little rest. Shavasana. Take a little rest. And then you're going to have the option of trying that one more time with both elbows, or trying the, oh, actually, we got to do the other side. Well, we'll do the other side with the option of doing both elbows or just one elbow. Anne, I loved your modification. Anne just decided to do a headstand against the wall. Nice job, Anne. I know your knees and hips couldn't take that pose. All right, take a breather, guys. Nice work. This is a very intermediate posture, level 3 posture. And if you've had enough and you really don't want to do anything anymore, I still want you guys to have the twist to even out the body. So whichever way you did the first twist in your side crow, just twist the other side in a reclined twist or a seated twist, okay? Because if you've had enough, I still want to get that symmetry into the body. Okay, so if you guys want to try the other side, we're going to come back up. So whichever side you haven't done, do the other side. You may have to just get into it and then say, oh yeah, I already did that side, and switch it. So again, you're finding your little perch. If you want to try to do just one elbow, if 2 elbows was really was doable and you were able to take flight, then you might want to try 1 elbow. It's the same principle. You're bringing the hands to the floor, but you're actually twisting even more. So I'm twisting so much that I can bring my outside arm to, or this is in my case my right hand, to way past my hip. So I'm not even going to bring my elbow into my hip. I'm using my whole left arm as the lever. So it's a big twist. Whichever way you're coming in, either using both elbows into the leg or just one, you start to, same thing, bend the knees, really draw the knees up. Think about your core engaging, lean forward, just find those chaturanga arms and take flight. Might just be for a second. I just started being able to do this pose with just one elbow this week and only for a second. Maybe just one leg comes up. That's it, Candace. Yeah, and so just like with everything in our postures, in our yoga practice, it takes practice. It takes your body time for it to catch up with what your brain is asking it to do. So I'm just watching you guys at home. How's it going, Donna? Again, you can always try the reclined version. Good, Anne. Did you do it? All right. Yeah. It's really, yeah. It really is physics. It's basically you're making your body into a lever, and it's just kind of like with our hip flow. If you get your mind kind of out of the way and just do it, like flow in and out of it, like we did with Crow last week, where you kind of come in and come out, your body will start to say, oh, okay, this isn't that scary. And if you have a big pillow in front of you, that helps too. I forgot to cue the pillows. Okay, guys, when you feel complete, come onto your backs and rest. Nice work. Great way to finish out our bird month. It's Parsva Bekasana. And drawing your knees into your heart, hug your knees into your heart. Give yourself a squeeze. Bring your feet up towards the ceiling. Legs are straight. Separate your feet wide apart. And bring your hands to the inside of the legs and just open and invite the legs to open up and release. Just make sure you're not pressing into your knees, so either above or below the knee, just not on the knee. And let your low back really relax. Dave, take that block out from underneath you. Yeah, and let your butt relax to the floor. Yes, so you're not doing any core work here. This is total relaxation. Low back is resting on the floor, sacrum. Eventually drawing the feet back together. Hugging the knees into the heart center. Draw your knees into your heart. And we'll move from here into happy baby. So separating your feet wide apart. Finding your feet or your ankles or your shins. And just feeling a nice stretch here. Eventually drawing your knees into your heart. Once again, hug your knees into your heart. We're gonna come into one final twist, kind of ending where we began. Bringing the arms out into a T and eventually letting the legs come over to the left or the right, whichever one feels better. Taking some breaths here. Not working the core any longer. Just letting the body settle and relax. And only when you're ready to come out of the twist, gently releasing back up to center, giving yourself another hug before taking that twist to the other side. And then eventually coming back up to center. Knees coming into heart center one last time. If there's any other posture that your body needs before coming into Shavasana, just take the next minute or so to prepare for corpse pose relaxation. Making sure that you're comfortable and warm. You might want to put your socks on or your sweatshirt. As we prepare for relaxation. Good, and as you come in and settle to Shavasana, swallowing now so your soft palate releases back. Letting your jaw release from behind your ears so that your teeth gently part. Your tongue is resting in the bottom of your mouth. Just feeling the insides of your cheeks release away from your teeth and your teeth away from your gums. Whole mouth is soft and open. Whole mouth releases, relaxes. Just let go. And I'll invite you guys for the next couple minutes to bring your awareness into your heart center. Just find gratitude in this space for the work you did today. Perhaps trying something new for the very first time, maybe taking a little flight in your side crow pose this morning for the first time. Finding gratitude for this body that we have and what it can do, for this beautiful space. However we can practice together, whether it's virtually or here in the studio, and the wonderful energy that we share no matter where we are. Resting here in gratitude for a few more minutes. I'll cue you guys when it's time to come out. Just rest. Remember your breath. Taking a deeper breath in now. And let it go, and another deeper, longer breath in, and just let it go. The awareness is still in the heart center. Just gently release that gratitude out into the world. And spreading through fingers and toes, and eventually bending your knees, placing your feet onto the floor and coming onto your side to rest. Take your time, no hurry. Make sure you support your head with your arm or your blanket. Eventually using the strength of your arms to press yourself up to a comfortable seat, and we'll just take a moment with a sense of peace and quiet from our Shavasana to more upright and wakeful pose, so we can take that peace with us. Bringing palms together over heart center, and bowing together towards our hearts. Great work this morning with yogis. So fun to do Bird Month every year. I love it. Namaste. Namaste. Nice to meet you, Val. If you guys want to unmute yourself, go for it. Namaste out. Just got a frog in my throat. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Joan.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Keep practicing your crow poses. Have a great weekend. Bye, Ann. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Bye.
Safe travels.
Molly, thank you.
you.
I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Okay, take care, guys.
Safe journey.
Thank you so much, Kath. Bye, Marie.